Tater. He always tries to get in the video. What's you doing? Anywho, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a while since I have uploaded a DIY video. I'm very excited for this one. It's a long one, so I hope you guys are ready for some crafts. So if you guys have been watching me for a while, you'll probably recognize most of these DIYs. These are pretty much all of my favorite fall DIYs that I've ever done. Some of the videos were when my channel was super small and there was only like 200 views. So now that I've grown a little bit more, I figured you guys would like to see some of these videos too if you missed them. If you guys are new, don't forget to subscribe. And if you love fall DIYs, give this video a big thumbs up. Once you guys grab a cup of coffee, some tea, some wine, no judgment here, and let's get into these crafts. All right, for this first one, I'm using stuff that I actually already had in the house, but you could totally pick up some jars or vases from Dollar Tree. I'm using this little milk jug thing. I don't even know where this is from, probably Dollar Tree. And then this little flower arrangement that I got from Marshall's. And I'm just taking this little burlap ribbon that I found at Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping it right around the little milk jug, and then I'm going to wrap it around the vase as well. And it just gives it a cute little farmhouse look to it. And then I'm going to be taking these little leaves, and yeah, I don't think there's flowers in that one, just leaves. I found these at Dollar Tree, and I'm stuffing some tissue paper down there just so that you can't really see the stems of the leaves inside the vase. And then I'm just going to stick those leaves in there, and then that is it for this one. Next, I'm taking these little styrofoam pumpkins. I'm sure you've seen these at Dollar Tree. I got 2 of them, and I'm going to go ahead and spray paint them with my just regular white spray paint. And then we are going to add a little glitter to these. So the first one, I wanted to have stripes on it, so I'm just taking some Elmer's glue with a little brush, and I'm just going to brush some stripes on here. Oh my goodness, sorry if you guys hear my kitten meowing in the background. She is up here with me while I'm doing this voiceover. So for this one, yeah, I'm just doing the little stripes. And then for the other one, I wanted to do little like polka dots. And I didn't know if I could use a paintbrush for this, so I ended up just using a glue stick to make the little circles, and that ended up working pretty well. So once you get the glue on there, you're just going to take some glitter and sprinkle it on there, and then that is it for these. These are super easy, and I just love how these turned out. Now we are going to make a little fall wreath, and these are all products I got at Dollar Tree. You're going to need one of these little wreaths, and I just picked up some leaves, and I had those grapes there. I don't think I got those from Dollar Tree. I think they might have been from Hobby Lobby, but I ended up not even using those for this project. So you're just going to want to cut all of the leaves off of the stems because you're just going to kind of stick them in there and glue them. So the only other thing you're going to need for this project is the little burlap ribbon again. I'm going to wrap that around the wreath as well. So once you get all of your little leaves off of the stems, you're just going to start sticking them in there. And originally I wasn't sure if I was going to go all the way around the wreath, but I kind of liked just having it like in a section of it. So it's just kind of like the bottom. So however you want it to look is up to you. And now I'm just going to take that ribbon and wrap it around the wreath part that is still exposed, that isn't covered with leaves or anything, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue that right on there. All right, for this next one, you're going to need 4 little picture frames from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to spray paint these white. I think the ones I had were silver, and I had used these for another project. I don't even remember what they were, but I thought that this would make a cute little lantern. So once you get those spray painted, I'm going to take them inside and clean up the glass and then get that glass glued back in. And I did end up breaking one of them when I was taking them apart, so I could only put glass in the 3 of them, so I figured I would put the open one in the back and that you really wouldn't even see it. And you really don't even need to replace the glass if you don't want to, but I ended up doing that. It's just an extra thing to dust, I suppose. But I wanted to reinforce it with glue gun and the E6000 just so I made sure that it stayed in place. And then now I'm going to use the same glue mixture and I'm going to start gluing the sides together. So you're just going to want to make it into like a little cube and just glue them all together. Next, I'm going to take this little LED candle that I had. I spray painted it in like a rose gold color, and I'm taking some of these loose little leaves and I'm going to glue these onto the candle. And I had 2 of these, so I'm going to do that for both of the candles. Next, I just went ahead and put the candles in there and I added some little pine cones and then some little leaves. So whatever you want to put in there for your little lantern. And this one was super easy and I love how this one turned out too. All right, next for these little pumpkins, I was trying to figure out a way to spray paint them to not get the little arrangement on the top covered in spray paint. And looking back, the way I would have done it is just taken a glove and kind of covered it with a glove and then sprayed it. The baggy trick didn't really work very good because parts of the pumpkin didn't get sprayed. But what I'm doing is I'm going to take this outside and spray paint it with, it's like a rose gold color, coppery, no, maybe it's copper. I don't know. They kind of look copper, but I think it was a rose gold color. So I ended up doing the 2 on the ends, and then the one in the middle I kept how it was, and I just love how these turned out. Hopefully they'll have these again this year. All right, for this next one, I'm going to make a little centerpiece, and I have this candle that I've had for years, and I'm spray painting this with a rose gold color. And then the rest of the stuff I'm using is stuff I already had. You could totally pick up items that are similar to these at Dollar Tree, but I had this large vase and this little tray that I'm going to go ahead and use. I had pine cones, and then these grapes came, I don't even know what those came in, maybe like a little, some arrangement that I got at Hobby Lobby, I believe. So I'm just going to arrange all of that stuff and then put the candle in there and then stick in some more leaves. And then I did go ahead and put those little crystals back inside of the vase, and those I want to say are from Dollar Tree as well. This next one is by far one of my favorites. We're going to make a little ladder, and I'm using pieces from all from Dollar Tree. So you're going to need 2 brooms and 3 of the little plungers. Obviously take off the rubber parts. And then this little table runner from Dollar Tree, you're going to use that as fabric for a little fall banner. And I'm not cutting on my countertop. I'm just getting it started. I just wanted to show you guys what exactly I was doing, because this little saw is actually from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to show you guys that you can get a little saw there. So you're going to want to kind of make the plunger pieces start small and make them get a little bit longer, and then you're going to want to go ahead and start gluing them onto the broom. So however you want to space them apart, I want to say mine are maybe like 6 to 7 inches apart. And so just kind of eyeball it and see how you want it to look, and then go ahead and glue those right on there. Next, you're going to take that table runner and make 4 little banner things. So it's going to say fall. So what I'm doing is just gluing it over, kind of making a little hem. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these little stencils that I got from Dollar Tree and some black paint, and you're just going to stencil the words FALL on these little banners, and then we will glue these back onto the ladder later on. Next, I'm taking some brown paint, and I'm just going to paint the entire ladder brown. I did spray paint it with like an off-white color just because I wasn't sure how the paint would stick to the metal. And then once you're done with that, I'm going to take some twine and wrap it around each part of the ladder just to reinforce it a little bit. And then now you can go ahead and start putting on the little fall banner. And I'm just taking it and gluing it on the other side. And later on, I decided to do Velcro with this because I want to switch out the flag banner, whatever, for different seasons. So you can either glue this, or you can go ahead and stick it on with some Velcro too if you want to make them changeable. This next one, I'm taking this little summer sign. You could probably find these at Dollar Tree right now. And I am going to go ahead and start peeling off like the sticker or whatever it is on here. Go ahead and take the ribbon off because you're going to put twine on there instead. So once you get everything taken apart, just try to get like the top layer of whatever this is. It's almost like cardboard. I'm not exactly sure, but we are going to go ahead and paint it. Next, I'm going to do a couple coats of that same brown paint and just make this little sign look like wood. And then I had found a font online that I wanted to, we're doing Happy Fall, y'all. So I was trying to do the pencil trick, but when I transferred it, it did not transfer well. So I had to go ahead and just freehand it. I was just copying the font, and I think it turned out okay. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it'll do. And then I didn't care for how the fall looked, so I ended up making it a totally different font. And then I have these other little paints from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make little leaves. And whatever you want to put on these little signs. I think I found an example of one like on Pinterest or something like that. So I'm kind of going off of that. So, and then on that one, I'm making a little pumpkin. And then I actually did find some cute little flowers from Dollar Tree, and I cut those off, and we're going to go ahead and attach those to the sign as well. And then once that's all dry, I'm just taking some twine and I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the sign. And I did reinforce it with my stapler, and it's held in place really, really well. For this next one, I'm using some other recycled items I had in the house. I had made a little cupcake stand with this, so I took it apart and I'm going to go ahead and sand it down and just kind of get some of the glue off of there. And then we are going to paint it with just white spray paint. Then I'm taking the other little candlestick holder and we're going to add some glue to that and then just glue it to the part of the tray. Originally I had it like a little 2-tier tray, so right now I'm just making it one piece, so you're just going to want to glue the little candlesticks together so it's just one big tray. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of black paint on this brush and I'm just going to kind of go around the edges to make it a little more rustic and farmhousey. And that is it for this one. I think this one turned out so cute, and I have a really pretty little pumpkin that I picked up at Hobby Lobby that I set on top of this, and I love it. Okay, for this one, we are going to make little fall letters. So I am taking my poster board and I'm just freehanding the letters F-A-L-L, and then you're going to go ahead and cut these out with, I'm using my X-Acto knife. And now I'm taking those little Jenga blocks and I'm gluing it to the bottom of the letters, and that is going to be the little stand. So they are a little top heavy, but for the most part they stayed put. So you're just going to want to head and glue the little Jenga pieces to all the letters, and then I'm going to take some Elmer's glue and paint that right on the letters, and then we are going to sprinkle it with glitter. Now we're going to make some little wood pumpkins using the Jenga blocks, and my inspiration was this picture I found on Pinterest, and those are like bigger block ones, and I thought that these would turn out really cute. So I'm using 2 different layers of these to kind of make it a little bit thicker. So you're just going to want to glue all of these together, and then I'm going to paint them orange with this orange paint from Dollar Tree. And these are the packages. I don't know if they still make these, but some of them came in the color brown. And so I just left them that brown, and then once I painted them with the orange, they kind of turned out to be like a different shade of orange. So I actually like the contrast between the two. So once you get them all glued together, you're just going to take one other little piece and put that at the top, and that's going to be the stem. And then for a little finishing touch, I'm just taking a little bit of twine and I'm going to tie a little bow around it. And I just love how these turned out. So I made two, the taller ones, and then one of a little bit shorter one with just two layers of it. And I think these turned out so cute. All right, this next one isn't from Dollar Tree, but it's a Goodwill makeover, and I thought I'd throw it in here. So I picked up this chair at Goodwill for a couple bucks, and I went ahead and sanded the bottom, and I'm going to paint the bottom brown. And this is actually going to go out on my porch. So once I did this, it needed about 3 coats, I want to say, to get to the brown I really wanted. And then I went ahead and repainted the white pieces too, because you could tell those had been painted. So I redid the white on those as well. And then if you guys remember watching this video originally, this was right around the time we got our little tater tot. So yeah, in a couple seconds you'll see what he did when I wasn't looking. Yep, there's some cute little kitty paws. He somehow walked across his chair when I wasn't looking. So obviously I had to redo that coat and get rid of the little kitty paws. And then for this next part, this is some fabric that I found at Goodwill. I don't know if they were using it as like a tablecloth or something, but it had like a hand sewn hem to it. So I went ahead and took that out, and then I'm just going to make a little pillow. So whatever size you want the pillow to be, cut that to size, and then I'm going to go ahead and make a little hem myself, and I'm going to glue it with my glue gun. So that's why I'm pinning it right now to make it even, and then I'm going to go back and glue it. And then I'm taking some stuffing and I'm just going to stuff the entire pillow. And then I didn't sew any of this. So once I stuffed it, I just kind of glued the end together just to make it stay in place. And this is just a pillow that I put out on my porch during the fall. So it doesn't need to be super durable. It's only out there for a couple months. And yeah, it held up pretty darn good. So couldn't believe I found this fabric there. I was really excited about it. All right, for this next one, I just grabbed a couple different pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I got a styrofoam one and then this, I don't even know what kind of material, maybe like plastic, and we're going to do galvanized pumpkins. So I'm taking my gray spray paint, and you're just going to want to spray paint both pumpkins. And now I'm going to take my platinum acrylic paint and do my galvanizing method. So I'm just going to go ahead and sponge that right on there. And if you guys are not familiar with my galvanizing method, I will put that down below. You guys should check it out. Super easy. So once you get both of those covered up with the platinum paint, and if your spray paint doesn't go on perfect, that's okay, because once you go back in with the platinum, you can cover any imperfections up with that. And then once I finish that part, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of my black paint, acrylic paint with cocoa bean, and that is how I make that rust color. So I'm going to do that and then make little rust marks on the pumpkins to make them look a little rustic. And then for the stems, I went ahead and took off the ones that they came with, and I'm just using these little wood stems from Dollar Tree. I think they make it look a little more farmhouse. So I'm just going to attach those little wood stems and then add a little bit of twine and tie it into a bow. All right, for this next one, I picked up 3 of these little thankful and blessed signs from Dollar Tree, and I'm actually going to be painting the other side of it. So I'm going to take the twine out and then remove that little like straw little leaf thing on there. And then I have those little thankful, welcome and blessed, I believe they say. They're little like galvanized little metal signs that I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and paint all of these pumpkins white. And then I'm taking, this brush actually had some black paint still on it, so I'm just going to kind of go around the entire pumpkin and make the little lines so that it looks like a pumpkin, and just distress it a little bit. And then you're going to go ahead and glue those little signs on there, and that is it for these. These are so easy, and I love how these turned out, and they look super high-end, I think. And then once I glued the little words on there, I did glue back on the little leaf, and then I added a little bit of twine on there as well. Okay, last we're going to make a cute little fall truck. So I do like how this one looks, but I kind of wanted to make it galvanized. So I'm taking everything off of it, and that's okay that some of it peeled off because you're just going to go ahead and paint right over this. So rather than spray painting it, I'm just taking a little bit of black and white paint mixed together to make that gray color, and I'm just going to paint the whole entire truck with this color. And then we are going to do my galvanizing method in a minute. So I painted everything but the pumpkins and the little tires at the bottom, and now I'm taking that platinum acrylic paint and I'm going to sponge that on as well. So when it dries, it looks super galvanized. I'm taking a little bit of Mod Podge and I'm going to paint this onto the pumpkins, and then we're going to add some orange glitter to make it a little blingy because I like that. Next, I'm taking my brown paint and I'm just going to paint the little stems on the pumpkins. And then after that, I'm going to take my black marker and just kind of go along the outside of the entire truck to just kind of distress it a little bit. And then I did add the twine back in there for the little hanger, and then I also glued on another piece of twine to make a little bow, and then I covered it with that little leaf that came with it because I thought that that looked better than the leaf or the twine or hay or whatever that it came with, because that other one kind of looks a little bit cheap. And then next I'm going to take that same black marker and just outline the Happy Harvest on here. And that is it for this one. I think it turned out cute. It looked super cute before, but I just like it better now because it's kind of like a little galvanized truck. Alright you guys, that does it for my 16 favorite fall DIYs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy your week, and we will see you all soon. Bye.